Welcome back to the channel World Coins Master everyone, and thank you for joining us today as we dive into one of the most fascinating topics in the world of coin collecting, the story of the 1994 D Lincoln cent. The 1-cent coin that has captured attention not because of its ordinary value but because of the extraordinary possibilities that certain rare errors and minting anomalies can turn it into one of the most valuable pieces in numismatic history. Imagine holding a penny that looks like every other coin you might have in your pocket, but instead of being worth just 1 cent, its rarity, condition, and unique mistakes could drive its value up into the hundreds of millions, making it a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. That is the kind of story that makes coin collecting so thrilling, and today we are going to explore the 1994 D Lincoln penny and why some collectors estimate that an ultra-rare example connected with this coin could be worth as much as $470 million, an almost unbelievable figure when compared to its humble face value of just 1 cent. The Lincoln cent, often called the Lincoln penny, has been one of the most familiar coins in American history. It has been in circulation since 1909 when it was introduced to celebrate the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Over the years, the penny has gone through different changes in composition, design tweaks, and minting practices. By 1994, the Lincoln cent was still one of the most commonly struck coins, produced in the billions at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. The 1994 D designation means it was struck at the Denver Mint, and like many other years, billions of these coins were released into circulation. On the surface, there's nothing unusual about the 1994 D penny. It features the familiar bust of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse with the word Liberty, the year of issue, and the D mint mark just below the date. The reverse still displayed the Lincoln Memorial, an image that was used from 1959 until 2008. But hidden among the countless regular strikes, there can sometimes be rare and dramatic errors that transform an ordinary coin into something unimaginably valuable. The value of a coin like the 1994 D penny hinges on a few factors. First and foremost is rarity. When billions are minted, most coins are only ever worth face value. But sometimes a very small number of coins are produced with a mistake during the minting process. These errors can range from double dies, off-center strikes, wrong planchette errors, die cracks, repunched mint marks, and other anomalies. In some instances, only a handful of these mistakes escape the mint and reach the public. When collectors discover them, the demand skyrockets because they are unique, irreplaceable, and highly desirable for anyone who wants to own a true rarity. Second is condition. Coins that have been in circulation for decades often show wear and tear. But those that survive in mint state condition or even higher grades from professional grading services can command incredible premiums. A coin in a grade such as MS67 or MS68 with full red luster can multiply in value far beyond a circulated example. Third is historical interest and market hype. When word spreads that a certain year and mint mark has produced a spectacular error, collectors flock to auctions, driving prices up dramatically. For the 1994 D Lincoln penny, there are stories of dramatic minting anomalies that could make a coin of this type worth hundreds of millions to the right collector. One of the most talked about possibilities is the double die error. A double die occurs during the process of hubbing a die, where a misalignment causes the design to appear doubled on the final coin. Some of the most famous double die cents, like the 1955 double die penny or the 1969 S double die, have fetched tens of thousands and even hundreds of thousands of dollars. If an example of a 1994 D double die cent were discovered with extremely bold doubling, particularly on the date, mint mark, or lettering such as Liberty or In God We Trust, and preserved in flawless mint condition, its value could theoretically soar beyond all expectations. The allure of owning a one-of-a-kind coin drives collectors to bid enormous sums, and the rarity makes it priceless. In a sense, another category of errors involves the mint mark itself. The D mint mark was manually punched onto dies until the early 1990s, meaning there was always the possibility of a repunched mint mark, where the D appears twice or in a slightly shifted position. These repunched mint marks can make a coin highly collectible, especially if the error is dramatic and easy to see with the naked eye. A bold repunched D on a 1994 penny, combined with high grade and possibly other errors, could be considered a once-in-a-lifetime find. Some collectors value mint mark anomalies above all others because they are directly tied to the minting process itself. Off-metal errors are another incredible category that could apply to the 1994 D penny. An off-metal error occurs when a coin is struck on a blank intended for a different denomination. For example, a penny struck on a dime planchet or a foreign planchet that happened to be in the press. These are extremely rare, but when they do occur, they are worth extraordinary sums. A 1994 D Lincoln cent struck on a gold-colored planchet or an aluminum blank would instantly become one of the most famous U.S. coin errors of all time. Considering the potential rarity and uniqueness, such a coin could theoretically attract bids in the hundreds of millions if the right circumstances aligned. Die breaks and cuds are also interesting to collectors. A cud occurs when part of the die breaks away, leaving a raised blob of metal on the coin where the design is missing. These can create spectacular visual effects. A dramatic cud on the obverse of a 1994 D cent covering part of Lincoln's face or lettering would be a remarkable minting error. Similarly, die cracks that form patterns across the coin can increase collector demand. Then there is the category of transitional errors. In some years, the composition of coins changes. By 1994, pennies were made primarily of zinc with a thin copper plating, a switch that had occurred in 1982. If somehow a 1994 D penny was struck on a leftover bronze planchet from before 1982, it would be an incredible transitional error. Transitional errors are some of the most valuable coins ever discovered, like the famous 1943 copper cent or the 1944 steel cent. These coins can fetch millions because they are so rare and directly tied to changes in minting history. A 1994 D penny struck in the wrong composition would be in that same elite category, possibly making it one of the most expensive coins ever known. The idea of a 1994 D penny being worth $470 million might sound almost impossible, but in the world of collectibles, value is determined not just by material but by rarity, story, and demand. There have been auctions where collectors, investors, and even museums have bid astronomical sums to secure a truly unique piece. If one 1994 D penny exists with a dramatic error, perfect preservation, and a story that captures the imagination, it could very well command a price unlike anything seen before in the numismatic world. The face value of 1 cent is meaningless when rarity and collector passion enter the equation. When discussing why such coins become so valuable, it's important to understand the psychology of collecting. Collectors are driven by the desire to own something no one else has, to complete a set, or to secure a piece of history. For wealthy collectors, price is no barrier when the opportunity arises to add the crown jewel to their collection. The story of the coin, the error that created it, and the fact that it slipped through the minting process into circulation makes it even more desirable. Each coin becomes a time capsule, a mistake frozen in metal that should never have existed but somehow did. Coin grading plays a huge role in establishing value. Professional services like PCGS and NGC assign grades to coins based on their condition, ranging from poor to mint state. For pennies, color designation also matters, whether the coin is red, red-brown, or brown. A 1994 D penny error in MS68 red would be considered almost flawless, and the combination of rarity and grade would make it one of the most desirable coins on the market. The registry set competition, where collectors vie to assemble the highest graded sets of coins, can drive prices through the roof as wealthy bidders compete for the top spot. Over time, stories of legendary coin finds have inspired new generations of collectors. The famous 1913 Liberty Head nickel, the 1933 Double Eagle, and the 1943 copper cent are examples of coins that became icons because of their rarity and value. If the 1994 D penny were to join that list due to an extraordinary error, it would not only be a financial marvel but also a cultural one, making headlines and inspiring treasure hunters to search their change more carefully. Everyday people dream of finding such coins in pocket change, coin rolls, or old collections. That's part of the magic of numismatics. The possibility that a single cent in a jar could actually be worth hundreds of millions creates excitement and wonder. It reminds us that history, rarity, and human error can combine to make something seemingly ordinary into something priceless. In conclusion, the 1994 D Lincoln cent may seem like an ordinary penny, but under the right circumstances with the right errors, mistakes, and mint mark anomalies, it could become one of the most valuable coins in existence, theoretically worth as much as $470 million. Its story represents the perfect storm of rarity, condition, demand, and collector passion. While billions of 1994 D pennies exist, the possibility of one extraordinary example keeps the dream alive for collectors. Today we are going to dive into the fascinating world of United States coins and focus on a truly extraordinary story about the 2000 AD Lincoln 1-cent coin, a coin that on the surface appears to be just another penny in your pocket, but in reality, certain rare versions of this coin can be worth as much as $130 million. It might sound unbelievable at first that a coin minted in Denver in the year 2000, with a face value of just 1 cent, could reach astronomical heights in value. But when we uncover the layers of minting errors, anomalies, and unique variations that can occur during the coin production process, the truth begins to reveal itself. This story is not just about a single coin, it is about the remarkable possibilities that come with numismatics, the study and collection of coins, and how mistakes or rare variations can completely change the fate of an otherwise ordinary piece of change. The 2000 AD Lincoln cent is part of the long-running Lincoln penny series that has been a cornerstone of American coinage since 1909. The design featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse has been iconic for over a century, but each year, millions of these coins are struck, and hidden among the countless coins in circulation are the rare treasures that collectors dream about. When the Denver Mint produced the 2000 Lincoln cents, errors, variations in mint marks, planchet anomalies, and striking mistakes created a handful of coins that would one day capture the attention of collectors and historians alike. Some of these mistakes are so dramatic that they elevate the value of the coin to beyond imagination, making them worth not just hundreds or thousands of dollars, but in the case of a unique or near impossible error, tens of millions, even reaching the unbelievable valuation of $130 million. Let's start by thinking about the very nature of minting. The U.S. Mint uses highly sophisticated equipment designed to strike billions of coins every year, yet despite all the technology and strict quality control, human error and machine malfunction can never be entirely eliminated. Sometimes dies are misaligned, sometimes planchets are defective, sometimes mint marks are misplaced or doubled, and sometimes the wrong planchet entirely is fed into the machine. These errors are not only possible but have happened time and again in U.S. history, giving us legendary coins like the 1943 copper penny, the 1955 double-die Lincoln cent, and the 1972 double-die. The 2000 D penny joins this tradition, with rare versions displaying errors and oddities that make them stand out. Collectors prize coins with double-die obverse errors, where the inscriptions such as Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, or the date 2000 show clear doubling. This doubling occurs when the die used to strike the coin has been improperly manufactured, leading to two overlapping impressions on the same design. If a 2000 AD Lincoln cent has such doubling, it instantly gains significant collector value. In extreme cases, doubling on the word Liberty or on Lincoln's profile itself can turn a penny into a treasure. Imagine finding one of these in pocket change and realizing it is worth not pennies but millions. Another key area of error involves the mint mark itself. The 2000 AD Lincoln cent should bear the small d for Denver beneath the date, but there are instances where mint marks have been mispunched, misplaced, or even doubled. Mint mark anomalies are highly sought after because they are visually distinct and rare. A 2000 D penny with a doubled D, a repunched mint mark, or even an error where the mint mark is missing entirely could cause a frenzy among collectors. Sometimes coins escape the mint with a faint or partial mint mark strike, further increasing their uniqueness. If a coin like this combines with another error, such as a double die, then the rarity multiplies exponentially. Planchet errors are another possibility. A planchet is the blank piece of metal upon which the coin is struck. If the wrong planchet is used, say a dime planchet instead of a penny planchet, the coin will come out thinner, lighter, and smaller than intended. These wrong planchet errors are some of the most valuable in numismatics. Imagine a 2000 D penny struck on a steel planchet or a foreign coin blank. Such a coin would be one of a kind, and one-of-a-kind errors are exactly the type that can command valuations in the tens or hundreds of millions. There are also off-center strike errors, where the coin is not properly aligned during striking, leaving part of the design missing and a blank crescent of metal visible. The further off-center the strike while still showing the date and mint mark, the more valuable the coin becomes. A 2000 AD Lincoln cent struck 70% off-center but still showing that 2000 AD would be considered an extreme rarity. Die cracks and cuds also contribute to the error coin market. A cud occurs when part of the die breaks off, leaving a raised, irregular blob of metal on the coin. Die cracks create raised lines across the surface. These can vary in severity, but dramatic cuds or cracks can make a coin stand out to collectors. If a 2000 penny has an enormous die break that obscures part of Lincoln's face or the lettering, it becomes a one-of-a-kind specimen. Now let's step into the possibilities that lead a coin like this to be valued at $130 million. For such a valuation, the coin must be absolutely unique, historically significant, and in demand among the wealthiest of collectors. Imagine a 2000 penny that combines multiple errors, perhaps struck on the wrong planchette, with a double die obverse, a repunched mint mark, and an extreme off-center strike, all preserved in pristine mint state condition. A coin with such a constellation of errors would be unprecedented. Auction houses would compete to showcase it, collectors would bid fiercely, and the coin could easily surpass any previous record in US coin history. Another factor driving such value is provenance. If the coin was discovered in an unusual setting, such as in a sealed US mint bag, or if it has been verified and certified by top grading services as the only known example of its type, its price would soar. Rarity is always the cornerstone of value in numismatics, and when rarity is absolute, the price has no ceiling. It's important to consider how error coins capture the imagination of collectors. They tell the story of imperfection in a system that strives for perfection. The US Mint is known for precision, but the rare mistakes that slip through are reminders of the human element, of the chance occurrences that create rarity. The 2000 penny valued at $130 million is a symbol of this, representing not only monetary worth but also the deep fascination collectors have with error coins. Some collectors theorize that coins like this could even be pattern coins or test strikes, pieces that were never meant for circulation but accidentally entered the public. A 2000 pattern penny struck with experimental metal composition or test dies would be a discovery of monumental significance. Such a coin could explain the staggering valuation. The cultural impact of such a coin cannot be ignored either. When a penny is said to be worth millions, it makes headlines, it captures public imagination, and it draws new people into the hobby of collecting. Stories of schoolchildren finding rare coins in change, or families discovering old jars of coins containing hidden treasures, all add to the mythos. A 2000 penny worth $130 million could become one of the most talked about coins in history, much like the 1933 double eagle or the 1794 flowing hair dollar. When we think about why a simple 1-cent coin could be worth more than entire mansions, yachts, or rare works of art, it comes down to uniqueness and desirability. Wealthy collectors often see coins not just as collectibles but as investments, as pieces of history that cannot be replicated. For the 2000 penny, its unique set of errors and anomalies makes it a modern marvel, a 21st century legend in the making. If you are a collector or even just someone curious about coins, this story serves as inspiration. Always check your change, examine coins carefully, and don't dismiss the humble penny. That small copper-colored coin in your hand could hide a secret that changes your life forever. It is precisely this possibility that keeps the excitement alive in the world of coin collecting. The story of the 2000 penny worth $130 million is not just about money. It is about history, rarity, and the pursuit of the extraordinary. Every nick, crack, misstrike, or doubled letter tells a story of how the coin came to be and why it is special. That is why numismatics is such a powerful hobby, blending art, history, economics, and chance. As we reflect on the idea that a 1-cent coin could hold such staggering value, it reminds us that treasure is not always found in the obvious places. Sometimes it hides in the smallest of things, waiting to be discovered by those with sharp eyes and a passion for history. The 2000 Lincoln penny, with its possible minting errors, mistakes, and mint mark anomalies, stands as a shining example of this truth. It is more than just a coin, it is a piece of living history worth more than gold, more than diamonds, and more than some of the greatest works.